put up Michael Johnson's tweet about that. What's been going on with the media lately? Like you said, they didn't even mention
You're a part of the media
Carrington's.
now. Serenity, you're a part. You're literally doing media. So you can take Michael Johnson's side, or you can take our side. It's your choice.
I take Michael Johnson's side. I think that all three athletes who made it to Tokyo should be interviewed,
They were
and
interviewed.
it has not been.
They were interviewed.
It has not been like that. I think
I
saw people
watched
complaining.
The interview.
I think I saw people complaining on Twitter, and then they started interviewing everyone. But they were not all interviewed.
They in the women's 400, the race that we're talking about here, they all were interviewed. I remember because the kids came out, Quinera Hayes and Allison Felix's kids came out. Yeah, and Wadlin walked in, and then Lewis Johnson talked to all of them. I just don't like Michael Johnson calling me lazy. He says problem is lazy media. Like, I got 3 kids. I'm working a full-time job, and you're the GOAT, Mike. Like, I'm not taking anything away from you, but don't call me lazy, man. That hurts, especially coming from an elite athlete. Like, I love the gold shoes growing up. Like, I never thought he'd call me lazy, of all people. Maybe my parents or something, or a teacher. Listen, here's the thing. Allison Felix made her 5th Olympic team. You're going to get talked about if you've made 5 Olympic teams. People may not like
counterpoint.
It. Let me finish my first point before you counter my point. Okay. People may not like it, but this is a mainstream broadcast sent out to millions. People tune in now that have not tuned in for the last 4 years. They know who Allison Felix is. People have enjoyed following Allison Felix over all these Olympics. That's why they know her, is because she's been there. She's been a recurring character in this Olympic show that goes on. Add in the fact that she has this compelling life story. Insane things have happened to her over the last 2 years, and she's still back. That's why she is being talked about here, and she still managed to make teams. That's what's going on here. We shouldn't ignore other stories, but when you have a 90-second window to interview people, they're going to go to the person who's made 5 Olympic teams and had this amazingly, like, almost horrific thing happen to them. That's like the reality of television and sports.
Counterpoint. Why did she get interviewed after the 200 when she finished 5th?
They interviewed. Okay, so I watched this. They interviewed everybody first, and then they interviewed her on top. She went into. I watched. She went
why
into the top.
Why do they need a? Why do they need to interview her on top?
Where would you rather that time go? They interviewed the 3 people.
Tamara Clark,
a
college athlete who went 21.
Because people know who Allison Felix is. It's the recurring.
I just think that,
like I mentioned,
and Allison Felix was beat by 2 college athletes. That is a huge story. I absolutely agree. No, I absolutely. It's been her last time about 3 times, but I absolutely agree that Allison Felix deserves.
It's been her last time.
I agree. Exactly. I agree that Allison Felix deserves recognition. I agree that her story deserves to get played time and time again. But college athletes in this new wave moving in, beating these vets, that's a huge story that they're missing out on. Like, I want to know Tamara Clark's story. I want to know Battle's story. I want to know their story because that's a big deal. Like, so I don't know. I just feel like it's been enough. It's been enough. It's a little bit of overkill now.
Well, now they have.
We're watching the U.S. Allison Felix trials, brought to you by NBC. That's what we've been watching.
Brought to you by NBC, sponsored by Allison Felix. Honorable mention, Allison Felix. Notable note, Allison Felix.
No, you got listen. Again, ooh. We have a 30-second. They have a 30-second window to interview. They're gonna think about how you guys consume sports that you're not following 24/7. You're following people like Allison Felix, and you want to see what happens with them. Like, if you're only tuning in at the biggest moments, you're tuning in. I mean, it's like at the Super Bowl. Well, why are they interviewing Patrick Mahomes? He was on the losing team. Why aren't you interviewing this defensive tackle from the Patriots?
Okay, so let's use that example.
Stars in the sport. She is a star in the sport. There are stars. She is a star.
But okay, so what's the sport that I don't? I have not. Basketball has been going on lately, And the only person I have been seeing is Trae Young. And I feel like that's how it should be. Like, he's a rookie in this game.
Don't do that
and
to Gordon.
They've just been interviewing
you
Trae.
just threw the Hawks to
so
Gordon
sorry.
in the last minute.
So sorry. I'm from Georgia. Of course I'm going to cheer for the Hawks.
Sixers slander at the end of the
off
pod.
subject.
Sixers slander at the end of the pod.
Interviewing Allison Felix.
We are not lazy.
Interviewing Allison Felix after getting 5th is like interviewing LeBron James at the NBA Finals.
Like, no.
Because he got eliminated in the second round.
It's like interviewing Phil Mickelson or Tiger Woods when they get 18th. Because you want to hear what Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods has to say. And yeah, you interview the winner. And yeah, you probably interview runner-up. But then there's people between those two and Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods or Serena Williams or whoever that star is. Tennis, I guess, is a little different because they have individual matches. And you only have one opportunity to interview in something like golf or something like track. You're going to want to hear from Tiger Woods. And you're going to want to hear from Allison Felix. And listen, I get it. I get it.
You got to admit, it's been a little overkill.
Now's their time. Now is their time. No. Here's my issue with the broadcast. If you want to get into this, my issue is it becomes an anecdote contest at the start line, and we overlook people who have had great seasons in lieu of people who did something in 2016 because they made an Olympic team and they want to call back to the Olympics, but they're not stars and they have this great anecdote and that gets mentioned over so-and-so who just won the NCAA championship. Because I think that's not informing the viewer at all about what's going to happen. That's making it seem like this person who was really good in 2016 and made the team has a chance now, and they don't. And I get why they're doing that because they're doing a callback to the Olympics before. But I think it's more time should be devoted to the people who actually had chances to advance and kind of inform the storyline. But Felix is rare. You guys are acting like there's going to be a Felix every day of this competition or every time we have an Olympic trials, and it's not. She's made 5 Olympic teams. She's got the compelling backstory. This is her first Olympic team. Has. So that's what's getting now. Now they have the chance. Now everybody has the chance, right? She's retiring. This is it. Last Olympic trials. They have the chance to fill in, but to act like mainstream coverage isn't geared towards stars. That's the way it is in every sport. We just notice it because we follow track 24/7.
Allison Felix was made a star when she made the first Olympic team when she was 18 years old. She was made a star then. Why was she made a star? Because she was beating the vets. Now when we have these young people beating the vets, they're not getting TV time. So how are we going to make them stars until we stop giving the TV time to the vets? That's what I'm saying. I think that Allison Felix absolutely deserves to be recognized. Absolutely.
It's earned
but
over
it has
time.
It's been overkill.
It's earned over time.
Kevin, why didn't they interview Justin Gatlin after not making the team in the 100?
They did, didn't they?
He made the Olympics in 2004. He's been there for a long time. He's made multiple teams, but they didn't find a way to interview the top 3 in the 100 and then be like, oh, wait, we got to get the Justin Gatlin interview.
So you want to compare, so you want to compare Justin Gatlin's backstory to Allison Felix and think about which one's made for TV better? Come on, Gordon. Come on.
I just want to say,
I said they should play her story, but in terms of the interview, I would like to hear from the people who placed above her. But it's okay because I will hear from them. I'm gonna reach out to Tamara Clark. I'm gonna reach out to Battles. I'm gonna reach out to all of them, and I'll get the interviews. It's fine.
That's I get it. Like that's kind of the point, right? Now they've established themselves, and then now they have time to tell their story. But like you can't, and Gordon, I think you agree with me with this, like you can't just wait till you get to the trials and be like, hey, I'm here to tell my story. Like and Serena, you probably have seen this too. Like you got to be doing that. If you're a professional or you have aspirations to be a professional and get mainstream attention, that's something you have to be thinking about all the time in your career. It can't just be about running fast times.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, Tara Davis was on plenty more things than Brittany Reese and Tiana Bartoletta going into trials. And like you said, well, we have to wait for them to do something big. But it's like she was on stuff beforehand, as she should be. So I just don't see why other athletes can't be too. Like, these are going to be the new generation athletes.
Yeah.
And featuring them on things is important right now at these moments because they're young now. Like, if we're trying to wait, I think that all the athletes that were predicted to do good should have gotten a story beforehand. If they didn't end up doing well, then just don't broadcast it. That's it.
I just also
now that's it.
Well, then the broadcast 8 hours. I get it. Like, I agree with you, Strandy. It'd be awesome to have 9 hours of broadcast coverage where everyone has a feature. But if they have 30 seconds to fill or 45 seconds and it's Felix or fourth place, they're going to go with Felix. And listen, I mean, they're talking up Ariane Knight and plenty. Just like in 2016, they talked up Lyles and they talked up Norman, right? Those guys were the two stars on the come up because they ran that fast at the right time to do it. And then if Knighton makes the team, he's going to gain some traction. And then the next Olympic, and if he does it 4 more times, I guarantee you we're going to be having the similar conversations about Knighton if he goes on to have a career.
I just don't like the NBC's treating the Olympic trials like it's America's Got Talent with all these weird ass social media stories. I was like,
is this the first year you've watched the Olympics? Is this the first year? Have you watched any other sports in the Olympics ever, like swimming, gymnastics? Like it's a show.
Yeah, I normally watch it on mute, so that's probably why.
Yeah, like
I normally watch it on mute.
It's human interest story after human interest story. Like the trials is actually relatively good. Like if you don't like the coverage now, wait till you get to the actual Olympics when they got way more time to pull out the soft features and run like 5-minute bios on everybody. But it is what it is. That's how, because we consume other sports that way too. I'm saying we just don't notice it as much because it's not the sport that we live and breathe. Anyway, we went way too long. Serenity and Michael Johnson called me lazy. I don't like it.
I did not call you lazy.
I'm gonna lose my
you lazy, then I'm
house.
lazy too. He called me lazy.
Called the media lazy, and Serenity's like, I take his side. No, you can take his side.
Okay, I actually kind of forgot about that one line. I was really just talking about the last line and how they should have talked about Waterland.
I want to end the pod with this. Gabby Thomas in her post-race interview was asked to speak about FloJo's 21:34 world record. She said, "I don't want to put a limit on myself, so I'm not going to say it's unattainable."
I like that.
There you go.
I like that.
Well,
there you go. All right.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
I wish I could show y'all the picture Tara Davis just sent me. She's going to the Olympics.
That's an interesting way to end the show. We will leave it there. Thank you to Serenity. Thank you to Gordon. Thank you to Elon for producing. There's that music. Thank you to Travis, as always. Join us tomorrow right after the meet wraps for our final trials show. We'll run through all the finals for tomorrow. Look ahead to Team USA in Tokyo. We'll see you then.
We're getting